She was a princess. She lived in a palace of gold, but she left it all to dance on the dusty streets. In 16th century India, when women were told to be silent and stay behind curtains, she traveled alone. When kings told her to bow, she refused. Her name was Mirabai. To the West, she is a mystic. To India, she is a saint. But if you look closely, she was the first true rock star of freedom. Let me tell you her story. Our story starts about 500 years ago in Rajasthan, India, the land of kings and deserts. Meera was a little girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old. One day, she saw a wedding procession passing by her palace. She saw a groom on a horse, dressed like a prince. In her innocence, she ran to her mother and asked,
Mother, everyone has a husband. Where is my husband? Who will I marry?
Her mother smiled. She looked around the room and saw a small statue of Lord Krishna. Now, for those who don't know, Krishna is the god of love and joy in India. The mother pointed to the statue and jokingly said,
Look there, Mira. He is your husband, Lord Krishna.
The mother was joking, but the child was not. In that moment, something clicked in Meera's mind. She accepted it as the absolute truth. She didn't need a human husband. She was already married to the divine. As Meera grew up, she became a beautiful young woman. But she didn't care for jewelry or clothes. She spent all her time singing songs to that statue of Krishna. But she was a princess and princesses have duties. Her family arranged her marriage to Prince Bhojraj. He was the crown prince of the most powerful kingdom in India at that time, Mewar. Any other girl would have been happy. She was going to be a queen, but Meera was heartbroken. How could she marry a man when she was already married to God? But she had no choice. She was forced to go. When an Indian bride enters her new home, there is a tradition. She has to bow down to the family deity. Meera's in-laws took her to the temple of the goddess Tulja Bhavani and told her,
Bow down.
Meera stood straight. She said very politely,
I cannot.
the family was shocked.
What do you mean you cannot?
Meera said,
A woman bows only to her husband. My husband is Krishna. I cannot bow to anyone else.
Imagine the silence in that room. A new bride defying the king in his own palace. This was her first act of rebellion. She was saying, my soul belongs to me, not to society. Things got worse. Her husband, the prince, was actually a kind man. He understood her madness, but he died very young in a war. Now Meera was a widow. In those days, the life of a widow was very hard. The new king, her brother-in-law, hated Meera. Why? Because Meera refused to act like a sad widow. She didn't stay in her room. She went out to the temples. She sang and danced with the common people, with the poor, with the so-called low-caste saints.
Namaste.
Namaste, Meera.
For the royal family, this was a matter of izzat, the honor, reputation. They felt she was shaming the family name. The king decided,
Let's end this.
he sent her a cup of liquid.
Tell her that this is Charna Amrit.
Charnamrit means holy nectar or blessed water, but actually it was a deadly poison. Meera knew this through one of her well-wishers. She looked at the cup. She knew it was poison, but here is the key point. She didn't panic. She didn't cry. She took the cup, offered it to her Krishna statue and said, if you want me to come to you, I am ready. And she drank it. The whole court waited for her to die. But she didn't die. She didn't even get sick. She just kept singing. Now you can call this a miracle or you can look at it psychologically. When you have zero fear of death, When you accept life completely, poison turns into nectar. She walked out of the palace alive and she never went back. This is my favorite part of the story. Westerners often think Indian women were uneducated, but listen to this. Meera traveled to Vrindavan, the holy city. She wanted to meet a very famous monk named Jiva Goswami. He was a great scholar, but when Meera arrived at his monastery, his assistant stopped her at the door. They said,
Sorry, you cannot enter. Our master has taken a vow. He does not look at women.
Meera laughed. She sent a message to the monk. She said,
Go tell your master this.
I thought that in this universe the only true male, the only true spirit is God, and rest all of us, human souls, are all female, waiting to meet him. I didn't know there was another male in Vrindavan competing with the God. Her logic was deep. She was saying that the soul has no gender. When the monk heard this, he was ashamed. He realized his ego. He ran out of his room and bowed down to Meera's feet. He didn't see a woman anymore. He saw a master. So how does her story end? It doesn't end with a grave. It ends with a mystery. Years later, the royal family realized their mistake. There was a drought in the kingdom and they thought they were cursed because they mistreated a saint. They sent soldiers to find Meera and beg her to come back. They found her in a temple in the city of Dwarka. They begged her, please come home. Meera looked at them, then she looked at the statue of Krishna. She said,
This is my home.
According to the legend, she walked into the inner sanctum of the temple. The doors closed. When the priest and soldiers opened the door, the room was empty. Meera was gone. Only her sari was found draped over the statue. She didn't just die, she dissolved into her love. So, what can we in the modern world learn from Mirabai? We are all constantly trying to please people. We try to please our bosses, our society, our neighbors. We compromise our happiness just to fit in. Mirabai teaches us that integrity is the highest spirituality. She showed us that you can be soft, you can be feminine, you can be a singer, and still be the strongest person in the room. She was the queen who refused to be a slave to society, so she could be a servant to love. And in that slavery to love, she found total freedom. Namaste.